everyone! Welcome to my channel. This video is really weird for me to shoot because I never really talk about having a YouTube channel to anyone from work, to any of my colleagues or co-faculty. Yet, here we are. So I guess, hello to my co-faculty from the Department of Psychology in Miriam College if you're watching. This is just an offshoot of what I shared in the faculty meeting when we were asked to present or share about our practices in online teaching. So this video is an extended and more visual presentation because I had to cut short what I had to present during the faculty meeting in the interest of time. So I guess just enjoy, and I hope you learned something from my video. So in this video, I will be talking about how I prepare my video lectures, and later on, I'll be sharing some resources that I use in order to produce my video lectures and some tips and tutorials on the different functions of apps and programs that you may have already been using. Okay, so just a short background on how I ended up vlogifying some of my lectures. I first thought of doing that since my first year of teaching in 2016, and at the time, I was doing it to make up for lost time for classes that I have missed due to class cancellations, due to inclement weather, and when I had to be out. So before I came up with it, I was thinking how I could deliver the lessons that approximates how the students receive the lessons in class. So I just want to share to you my thought process as I was coming up with the idea. I had a lot of factors to consider, and one of those would be the student's attention span. So I had to think of ways on how to catch their attention and at the same time make them motivated to access the material. I wanted to produce material that is largely educational and informative, of course, but also partly entertaining or at least interactive to catch their attention. Now, as an elder millennial, I must admit that I am entertained by vlogs about different topics like fashion, travel, food, but I'm also a heavy consumer of educational vlogs like Crash Course. Now, Crash Course has been producing a lot of different educational videos about academic topics ranging from the social sciences to the sciences. So these videos are pretty elaborately produced. Now my goal is to at least try or attempt to do something similar given my capacities and my limited resources. Now, the second factor that I considered was accessibility or technical capability. So whether our students would be capable of accessing the YouTube videos. Now, I happen to have learned that our students, at least prior to the pandemic or being quarantined, have zero to minimal problems accessing YouTube videos. In fact, they are heavy consumers of YouTube videos. And then YouTube is very accessible as a website and as an application. You won't even have to run into the problem of it being incompatible with your device because I guess almost all kinds and models of phones come with the YouTube app automatically. And if not, then you have the browser version. Regarding internet access, at least at the time, the students had many options. They could watch at home if they don't have any connectivity issues. They could watch outside using data, or they could watch in school with their friends who have VPN. Now, since the YouTube videos are pre-recorded, we do not have to struggle to find a common time or an empty classroom where we could hold our makeup classes outside of the regular class schedule. They can also access it anytime, so it's asynchronous, and they can plan ahead because the length of the video is fixed. So all these in mind, I thought I could mimic classroom delivery but behind the computer screen by making my lectures into a vlog. So it's asynchronous but still feels like I am talking to them. So what did my students say they liked about it, and what do I like about it? From their feedback, they said that they liked it because they could pause and repeat if they did not understand the video the first time. They also said that they could watch it while they are lying on their beds, or they could find a comfortable position where they could watch the video and listen to the lectures. They also said that it is less boring than reading, and reading materials still get to be explained through the discussion in the video. For me, what I like about it is that I get to maximize the time. What does it mean? My usual lecture that spans 3 sessions, I get to compress into a 1-hour video lecture because there are no distractions and I get to stick to my learning plan. Having said that, another thing that I like about it is that I get to exercise more control over the content and the information that I get to send across to my students. And because I can edit the videos, if ever I forgot something, I can easily create a new slide with a narration, or I could insert a clip, or I could put annotations to correct my mistake or to add that missing information. Now, when it comes to challenges, there are several. It's not a perfect approach, it's not a perfect solution anyway. So, probably the biggest concern would be connectivity issues still. As we've been talking about for weeks now, that this is the major issue that both teachers and students would have to face given the technology that we have in the Philippines. So probably one way to address it would be to chunk the lessons into more digestible pieces and create shorter videos, which I admittedly haven't done so. But that's one way to go about it. Another way to address it would probably be to provide time markers for specific sections in the videos, for specific topics, so that during playback, the student would not have to go through the whole video again in order to arrive at that particular section they're looking for, so they can just skip to a particular time. The second challenge that I encounter would be that the interactions are really limited, and if there's any, it's usually not in real time. Supposedly, the students could comment in the comment section in YouTube, but for some reason, not a lot of students take advantage of that feature. Probably because there's some level of discomfort in leaving a comment that is for everyone to see. And I've been trying to figure out how to go about it, how to address this concern for a while now. But the closest thing I could come up with is to discuss it on Google Classroom, on my LMS, or to open an Ask Me Anything sticker on Instagram stories in my teacher account on Instagram, so that they could leave their questions or comments anonymously and I could answer live, and I could expound on it on another video within Instagram. However, I think the students are also not that well versed in using that feature of Instagram, so I haven't had a lot of luck in encouraging students to use that feature. But yeah, I guess that's just a trade-off. If you're using asynchronous delivery, then discussion would be limited. Another challenge that I encounter would be that it's really tedious and time-consuming to prepare. Because aside from preparing the content of your lesson, aside from reading up on the lesson itself and preparing the slides, you also have to come up with the video itself or the audio recording And the editing also takes a lot of time. Now, how do I do my video lectures? What's the process like? So, there are actually 6 stages before I get to produce a video lecture that is usually an hour to an hour and a half long. Now, going back to the process, the first stage of producing a video lecture is really important because, as I say, internet is forever. Your students can take a screenshot of you. So that means you have to be careful about how you register on the video. So that means you have to prepare the setting, the backdrop. You have to prepare yourself also. Parang hindi pantay. Parang kulang yung background. Parang bitin. Perfect. Now, the second stage for me, but it could be the first stage for you, would be the preparation of the content. Now, I have the slides already for my lessons, but sometimes I tend to reorganize the slides as I go along. So that's why I'm putting it in the second stage, because I also do other things in relation to that, like the preparation of a script, or thinking up of guide questions, or coming up with exercises or activities that they could work on after watching the video. Now, I know these things should have been included in your course outline and learning plan, but sometimes I tend to mix things up depending on what I have just mentioned in the video. So, yeah, I just adjust things as I go along sometimes. So that's why it's in the second stage of this video lecture preparation. Now, for the third stage, and again, these stages don't have to be linear. It could be the first stage or the second stage for you. But as I was doing my outline, for some reason, it ended up on the third stage. And this one would be to prepare the tools, equipment, and programs that you will use in shooting and editing your video lecture. Right now, I'm using my smartphone in shooting this video using the built-in camera app, but sometimes other people would prefer another camera app because they are sharper for some reason, or they have better color. It's up to you. What do you think would work best for you? Sometimes I also use my built-in camera on my laptop when I want a certain angle. I don't know. But yeah, those are two things that I use to shoot my videos. Part of the preparation of those equipment would be to make sure that they are fully charged and that your charger is ready should the batteries be drained. Now, make sure also that you have enough storage space, either internal or external, SD card or an external hard drive, because these video files could take up so much space, and you don't want to be transferring and deleting all the time because it could add up to your preparation time. Programs. Of course, you would need, at the very least, a video editing program. So there are mobile phone applications that do a great job in editing videos that are ready for vlogging. But I personally use desktop programs like the very basic built-in Windows Movie Maker, the previous version, not the Movie Maker 10, because it's really easy to use, it's no frills. And then recently I discovered this program called the VSDC Video Editor. I use it for more specific functions like making side-by-side videos or cropping the videos if I don't want a portion of my room to be seen. I crop it out. So those kinds of things, like also changing the brightness and the contrast of the video, I get to do using the VSDC Video Editor. I also sometimes use the built-in voice recorder on my phone, especially if I don't want to record or shoot videos anymore. So I just insert the slides and then I append a narration. And I don't usually use audio editing apps anymore because audio files can be edited also in the video editing app. Once I have all those things prepared, I can now start creating the content of the video lecture. So I shoot videos like this one. I also sometimes record audio like I have mentioned. And when I need to insert slides, I either convert them to JPEG files and insert them one slide at a time. Or if I want to insert slides that have transitions or timing, then I record the timing first and then convert it to MP4 format. After all those things are done, once I have all the content ready, I post-process my own video lecture. So that includes trimming the video files, trimming the audio files as well for any errors in recording that I don't want you to see or to hear. I also edit the sequence based on the lesson plan or the outline that I have. Now this is what it looks like once I have all the files in my video editor. I have all the slides, photos, I have the videos that I have taken, I have screenshots, and all that's left for me to do now is to edit them, to put them together seamlessly because I've already pre-arranged them into sequence. So the first thing that I do is I trim the video clips so that the parts where I wasn't ready yet, I could delete. So for example, this file or this video clip, I want to remove this part so that when you play it, I'm already ready to speak. So I'm gonna place the cursor over here, click the edit button on top, and click split, and delete the first part. So when you play it, it looks like this.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel.
Now I also put animations in between segments so that there's a transition. So for this cover page, I want to use this transition. So it looks like this when you play it. And I can also edit the duration of the transition to make it shorter or longer. Now I can also add visual effects, but I rarely use it. So if you want to make this particular video clip into black and white or sepia mode, you can do that. I also usually add background music to my cover page. So I just open my folder containing all the sound effects and background music that I have downloaded. So these are royalty-free music, so I can upload them on YouTube without being reprimanded for copyright infringement. So I just drag the music file underneath the photo that I want to have a background music. So, for example, this is a really long music file, so I want to trim it as well. So when you double click the music file, the music tools options will pop up in the tools ribbon on top, and I can just drag the cursor to the end so that it fits the cover photo perfectly, and then click split and remove the rest of the music file. Now I can also change the effect so that when it comes in, it fades in, and when it goes out, it fades out. So now I'm just going to do the rest with the remaining files so that I can save the whole presentation. Now, for the discussion component, I usually give instructions to my students on Google Classroom, which is my LMS of choice right now. When I announce that my video is up and running on YouTube, I tell them that they should go back to our thread on Google Classroom where they could answer the guide questions that I have provided within the video lecture. And there we get to discuss their responses to the guide questions. And then at times, I also direct them to more familiar platforms like Instagram, as I've mentioned earlier. So there you have it. I know it sounds a bit too much because it's really a multi-step process and there's so many things that you have to do first before you are able to come up with just an hour's worth of lecture. But for me personally, I enjoy the process of creating something from scratch. And so, even if it's time consuming, I try to come up with video lectures every now and then. To be honest, I'm actually wondering if this is sustainable because if we were to migrate the whole class to online, I'm not sure if that if time would permit me to create that many video lectures, because before it's manageable because I only create one video lecture per class per semester, so it's not really a big problem even if it's a whole production number. But now I'm not so sure, but probably if there's enough time for preparation, it could be done. So if, for example, you think that this is something that you would like to try out, don't hesitate to contact me, get in touch with me, and I'm more than willing to help you set it up and to give you tutorials on how to create your own video lectures. Now, I'm going to share some tips, tutorials, and resources that you may want to try using as you migrate to online teaching. Now, here are some features of Microsoft PowerPoint that I never knew existed and I never knew that I needed until I started working on my video lectures. You may have already known this, but you may also record the whole presentation as a slideshow together with the narrations, animation timings, gestures. You can also use the laser pointer, highlight, make annotations. So you can do that by clicking on slideshow and then clicking the button record slideshow. Which brings us to this screen. You will notice that there are a lot of buttons for the settings, but of course, the important buttons to take note of would be the record, stop, and replay. And then you can also enable the microphone for the narration. You can also turn the camera on for a preview of the speaker. And you may also turn the camera preview off. Okay. You can also change the settings if you have multiple input for your microphone and your camera. You may also see here an option where you can clear the recordings, an option for the notes if you want to see your notes, and down here below you can use the pen tool. You can choose the color of your pen if you want to make annotations. Or if you want to highlight words. And similar to the rehearse timing feature, once you hit the record button, it will record the presentation the way you want it to go about. So you can start talking about what the slides are all about as you click the next buttons. Once you make it to the end of the slides, it will prompt you to click to exit. And automatically, the timing and the whole presentation will have been saved. Now you click on File, click Save As, then choose the file type. We want it to be saved as an MP4 file, so it becomes a video. And then choose the destination folder. I'm choosing it to be saved on my desktop, and then click Save. So you will see down here below the progress of the process of saving. So once the bar has been filled to the end, you know that the video is ready and you can already exit the program. Now, once you have all the slides ready, you may now save them into JPEG files. So you just click File, click Save As, and then over here you choose the file type. For me, I want to save it as a JPEG file, so I just choose that, and then it will be saved on my desktop. So I'll just click Save. Now what will happen is it will ask you if you want to export just one slide or all the slides. Of course, you want all the slides to be saved as separate photos, so you click All Slides. And then it will create a folder on your desktop where all the JPEG files will be stored. So you just have to wait for a while because it depends on how many slides you have. Okay. Alright. Now let's see where the file went. Upon saving, it should have created a separate folder with the same file name as your PowerPoint slides. So look for that particular folder on your desktop or wherever you have saved your JPEG files. Now, for this tutorial, I already transferred the contents of that folder into one of my preset folders here above the screen. because I want to prepare different folders for the different content that will go into my video lecture. So I have here the actual PowerPoint slides, the folder for the video clips that I have already shot, a folder for my audio recordings, a folder for the slides that have been converted to JPEG files, and for this video, I have a folder for screen recordings. Now, let's look into this folder containing the slides. So as you can see, it has saved each page of your PowerPoint into separate pictures. Okay? Now, what are you gonna need these pictures for? So if you're creating a video lecture like what I do, let me just show you the program that I'm using. So I'm using the very basic Movie Maker, which is a built-in program that comes with your Windows. So I have already put in the video clips earlier so I can show you what it looks like. But now you can drag the pictures into the video editor program. So your video editor should have that capacity to include pictures together with the video clips. So now, as you can see, my video already has a cover page. Another thing that you can do with the Microsoft PowerPoint program is you can save the whole presentation as a video. Now, why would you want to do that? For me, sometimes I want to make a shortcut. So, instead of shooting myself in front of the camera, what I do is I record my voice doing the narration for the slides, and then I rehearse the timings of the slides, put them together in my video editor so that they play in sync. Now, that's what I'm going to show you next. Now, once you're done preparing your slides together with the transitions and the animations, we rehearse the timings. So, under slideshow, you can see their rehearsed timings. And then you will click on that, which brings us to the very first slide. And then it automatically starts the timing, so you have to be ready for it. What I find to work best for me is to do the audio recordings first and listen to them through my headphones as I rehearse the timing of my slides so that they are synchronized and I don't have to edit a lot after. Once you make it to the end of your slideshow, you just click on the X button or the close button, and the prompt will pop up telling you how much time it took for your whole presentation to finish. Of course, this is not a true timing, and it will ask you if you want to save the timings that you made. So you just click on yes, and it will bring you back to the original window. Now, you click on File. Okay, click on File, and click Save As, and then choose the file type, and we want it to be saved as an MP4. Okay, again, it's going to be saved on my desktop, so you click on Save. Okay, so over here below, you will find that it's saving as a video, so you just have to wait until this bar gets to this point at the end. And then you will know that the video is ready and you can already exit the program. Now let's see what it looks like once it has been saved as a video file. As you can see, it has saved the timings that we rehearsed. I live for creative and eye-catching slides, so I go to these websites for my templates. Now, for supplementary materials, I go to these YouTube channels for interesting psychology-related videos. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I know that this is not groundbreaking, this may not be new to you, but I hope you got something from this video. And if you have any suggestions or recommendations on how I can make the process more efficient, please leave a comment at the comment section down below or send me a private message. You know how to reach me. Now, in true vlogger fashion, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button below. And if you want to be notified of my future vlogs or video lectures, please hit the subscribe button. Okay, so again, thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye! Stay safe!